Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Just a little bit of an update, what's been going on, and a few things that I want to talk about today. So first things first, progress. So at 10 weeks out, my coaches did a calorie drop. Now my calories are 1600. My carbohydrates are 165 grams, protein's 135 grams, and fat is 44 grams. So not a huge difference. I'm still feeling really good, still feeling fine, although this week I was sort of a little bit low on energy. So this is my second week now. They didn't change it at 9 weeks out. I'm still on 1600, and I was feeling a little bit tired in my workouts, but I had 4 days in a row of really early mornings and some late nights, so that might have contributed, I'm not sure, but yeah, still feeling really good and on top of it. So on Saturday my weight was 51.4 kilograms, which was a bit of a drop. And body fat is 21.5%. So sort of when I decided that I would compete a while ago, I sort of set this goal for myself, and I said, alright, maybe around 16% body fat is going to be alright, but that's kind of in the back of my mind. When I said it, I said straight away, don't make that like a goal to just aspire to, because I've always had an issue with, numbers and, weight and all that. So I think a couple of reasons that I'm not sort of getting obsessed with that body fat percentage and weight and everything. Firstly is because people hold body fat so differently. So for someone who's like 16-17% body fat, they may look really awesome, and could look really lean, look really good for the category they're in, and then someone who's 10% might look just as lean, and there might not be much difference. So that's just purely based on how people hold their fat and how their body looks at different percentage body fat. So I've never, when I was quite lean, I didn't actually measure my body fat, so I'm not sure how lean I can get or what I look like at certain percentage of body fat. So that was just a goal that I kind of was like, I set, but it wasn't anything to kind of push myself to. And the second reason, I guess, as well, was because I've been working with my coaches for over 20 weeks now. So I've basically been prepping for about 20 weeks, and in that time I've only lost just over 4% body fat, which isn't a lot, but my photos look like really different and really good. And at the end of the day, when I'm up on that stage, they're not going to be looking at my numbers and someone else's numbers and comparing them. They're going to be looking at our aesthetics up on that stage and how we look, and if I'm looking good, if I'm still dropping and looking tighter and tighter each week, then I'm happy. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what I do get down to in the end, actually, in the next 9 weeks. I'm definitely interested in seeing what my body will do and what my body will look like at different stages. So something that I am doing is intermittent fasting. So basically your body takes 12 hours to get into a fasted state, so when we fast overnight, but a lot of people they're not actually reaching that fasted state, because we're eating later at night, or waking up early, eating before work, and some people might only have like a 7-hour window where they're not eating, where it should be kind of the opposite. So 12 hours to get into a fasted state, and then another couple hours on top of that to actually start sort of using those fat stores and tapping into all that. So for sort of normally what people do in intermittent fasting is a 16-hour overnight fast and then an 8-hour refeed window. So but for me, I'm kind of aiming for a 14 to 16 hour fast, purely because I work later at night, and so I don't actually get to eat my dinner most of the time until 8:30, and then I'll have my breakfast around 10:30 the next day. So that can range, like if I'm having dinner, like some nights I'll be able to have dinner at like 6, and that's awesome. But yeah, most of the time it's like 8:30. So my fasting is about 14 to 15 hours normally, and then yeah, refeeding the rest of the day. So studies have sort of shown that fasting is a really good way of dropping body fat rather than dropping your calories down. And I actually find that I don't really get that hungry until I eat. So I don't know if that makes sense, but in the morning I can sort of hold off without being too hungry. But as soon as I have breakfast, like if I have breakfast at 7 o'clock, by 10 o'clock I'm starving again. Whereas if I don't eat until 10 o'clock, I can sort of hold out, and then the rest of the day fitting all of my calories into a shorter window makes me less hungry. So seeing as I'm on 1600 calories at the moment, I'm not actually getting hungry because I feel like I'm eating like every couple hours now, and having sort of bigger meals. And yeah, I think when I eat early, I sort of have a lot of small meals and I don't actually get very full. I feel like I'm sort of hungry like straight away afterwards. So this way I'm having sort of 4 or 5 meals, but they're bigger, and they're more filling. So yeah, I'm finding that it's working really well. But studies have also shown that for optimal protein like muscle synthesis, you need to be having protein like regularly throughout the day. And obviously with my fasting, that means that I'm not consuming protein in the morning, and yes, I'm tapping into my fat stores, but it can actually also lead to muscle breakdown. So the way that I'm preventing that is by taking BCAAs. So some people might say, well, then that's not actually fasting, but my BCAAs is just purely protein, purely BCAAs, to make sure that I'm maintaining my muscle and providing that muscle synthesis, especially since I am in a deficit and when I'm fasting. So in the mornings, I don't normally take supplements as such, but I do when I'm fasting. So this is the BCAAs that I am taking. It's an Australian brand, so get around that. It's really important as well, I think, to really make sure that you know the supplement you are taking. So I did a lot of research before I just jumped on the bandwagon to having my BCAAs. And I think you should do that with any supplement you take. Really do your research so that you know what it's doing and you can make an educated decision as to whether you think it works or not. So yeah, I take the BCAAs in the morning. Also with the Australian brands, they have the correct macros and calories on them, whereas American brands do not. So the Americans have a different food standard code to what we do in Australia, and therefore they don't actually have to label some things. So when I was comparing this one to the American brands, most of them said 0 to 5 calories. People would normally be like, oh yes, that's sick, you know, not adding to my calories, but that is false. Most of them would be between 50 and 100 calories. It just doesn't say it on this. So that's another thing to really watch out for and do your research on. So this one is 52 calories per serve, which is 15 grams. So I'll take that in the morning, and that just adds, it's about 12 grams of protein in it. So yeah, I take that in the morning. Also some other supplements that I do take, purely because I have done my research and I believe in them. I take fish oil, so I take this one here, which is double strength fish oil, and I take 2 of them. Another one I take is just a probiotic. So this one is just a pretty stock standard one I got from the health food store. I think everyone should have a good quality probiotic. Really important for a healthy gut and everything, and especially while I'm sort of prepping, I feel like it's really important. And the other thing, I just take a stock standard multivitamin. So that's a pretty stock standard brand, but it's all good. So I'll take 1 of them a day. If I feel like I was quite sick a couple of weeks ago, so I was taking a bit of extra zinc and vitamin C as well. But that's just normal. And then some other ones that I take that have been sort of prescribed to me by my naturopath is some that are for my circulation. So I have really bad circulation, my extremities, so my hands and my feet, even my lips get really, really cold all the time. So it'll be summer and we'll go to the beach and my toes will be blue. But yeah, so I take two things for that. I take ginkgo biloba, which they're all just natural supplements. I like to take natural, and that is kyolic, which is like a garlic, so that's good for like cardiovascular. Also, if you get kind of dizzy spells, that's a really good one to have as well if you have like low blood pressure. So yeah, my naturopath gave me those ones, and also she gives me the magnesium, so that's just the Magphos, the tissue salt, another natural one, so magnesium for when I've got sore muscles or just to help me recover generally. So really the only other supplement I take is a whey protein, and I do not have that all the time. I only really have it if I'm not reaching my protein goal through food. So I try and get most of my protein through food, but some days when I can't eat enough, if I'm not feeling like meat, then yeah, I'll have that. Or if I feel like a smoothie, I'll put it in my smoothie. The other thing I forgot to mention that I do take sometimes is my Chinese herbs, which my Chinese naturopath prescribed to me. I had a lot of gut issues and digestive issues when a couple of years ago, probably 3 years ago, and so she's given me Chinese herbs that I take. I used to take them daily, and anyone who takes Chinese herbs know that you have to take so many of them. It's like anywhere from 4 to 8 every meal. So that is like, and I had 5 that I was taking, so that's like a lot. They're tiny, 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 but they are just natural herbs. And so if I am, I don't really take them often now, but if I, like last week, I was feeling really just bloated and not good in my stomach, like all week. So I took them every day, and just that kind of fixed that and got me up to speed. I only took about 4 twice a day, and yeah, I started feeling really good again. So one thing that did catch me out last week was my macro tracking. So I use MyFitnessPal to track my calories and my macros, and basically what I do is I put in my goals each week, so whether that changes or not. So I put in my calories and each of my macronutrients, so the grams, and then it just tracks that for me, and I reach that through, putting in my food to reach my goals. So I realized that I think when you put food in, the app actually rounds up or down your macros. So that means that your calories are out a lot of the time. So most times what mine looks like is I will hit my macros and my calories will be 20 calories under or 20 calories over, and it's so weird, and I don't fully understand that, but anyway, that's what happens. But on Thursday last week, I hit my macros to a T. They were all perfect, but my calories were actually 100 over, which is a lot when you are dieting. And my nutritionist said to me, like, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'm not sure, because I hit my macros, and I'm not sure why my calories were over that much. And basically she said to me, don't go over your calories trying to chase your macros. So while, your macros are really important to be getting that right balance, ultimately fat loss comes down to calories in versus calories out. So yeah, that was a bit of a bummer, and I was pretty disappointed that that happened. And to be honest, I'm quite annoyed at the app, purely because if you have a calorie counting and macro counting app, you think that it would do it correctly, so that people don't get caught out like that. I feel like they should be counting everything properly. There are so many people that use that app, and I'm sure it's happened to people before. I'm sure I'm not the only one, so that's pretty annoying. But that's just how it is. Just got to move on and try and be, not go over my calories from now on. I think I was so obsessed with just, hitting my macros exactly every day, and I was doing that like every day. So last week I also went and bought my comp shoes, which is super exciting. It feels like it's finally getting sort of real now. So they're just pretty stock standard clear shoe. They are 6-inch, so pretty high, but I actually find them a lot more comfortable and a lot easier to pose in, purely because when you buy a lower heel, your foot is actually on more of an angle. So when you have a bigger platform, your foot is less on an angle, and they are actually really comfy. They've got this nice squishy stuff. But yeah, that was an interesting experience buying those. So yes. And also on Saturday, I just went with some of the other PowerFit girls to get our bikinis fitted and chosen and everything. So that was super exciting, and I'm really excited now. My bikini is something that I have been thinking about since before I even started prepping or thinking about competing. It is something like, it's something that is, it kind of is the make or break. You do this work, you want your bikini to be right, you want it to fit right, you want it to look right, you want the colors to match and complement your skin tone. And I think because I'm such a perfectionist, I just want to get it so right. And I had all these colors that I was like, I really like that, I really like that. And I think it's really cool and really important that we got to go into Glam Fit bikinis and actually try them on to see the colors for ourselves and what they look like on us, because there are so many colors that I liked and looked really good on other girls, and when I tried them on, they just didn't suit me. But I've chosen my color, and I am going back this Saturday to get it all fitted and finalize my embellishment style and colors and everything. So that's going to be really exciting. I'll try and take some footage for you guys for that for my next video. But yeah, that's really exciting. It kind of, is feeling sort of more real now. And it's crazy to think, you put on those bikinis and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm 9 weeks out and I do not look like I'm ready. But I think that from this point on is kind of where the magic starts to happen and where it all comes together. I just got to keep being persistent, trust the process, hitting my goals every day, and working hard and staying in that positive mindset. And yeah. Another thing that I've also been working on is my wings for the IMBA Angels division. So this is kind of like just a fun division that I'm not really taking too seriously. It's going to be my first time on stage. That is the first division to go on. So it's kind of like a bit of a warm-up, getting used to being out there before we do our actual divisions. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money on my wings. I want to put most of my money sort of towards my bikini and all the other things that costs. So I'm trying to do it pretty cheap, and I wanted to be something a little bit different. So what I did was I got some wire. Actually, Dad already had some wire out in his shed, so that was really cool. I didn't even have to buy any. And I sort of shaped some wings. These ones are little ones that are going on the bottom. They're actually the bottom part of the wing that I haven't done yet. And then I also bought just some netting, and you'll see why in a second, because I bought some vines and I'm actually making some kind of flower wings, I guess. So that is like the top big part of the wings, and I'm sort of just like threading them through. Hello. Threading the vines through. It is so frustrating, and I'm not a patient person, and it keeps getting tangled and it's taking so long, so I'm sort of doing it a little bit at a time, but it is taking a while. But yeah, I'm also I'm going to stick flowers on it as well. I haven't bought those yet because I wanted to wait till I finalize my bikini color so it kind of matches and it all ties in. But yeah, there's going to be some other cool stuff going on with that as well. That's on a bit of a hush-hush now, so you have to wait and see till comp day to see what I've got planned for that. But yeah, it's all very exciting. And yeah. Please also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate the support, and and yeah, keep updated with my progress and everything that I'm doing over the next 9 weeks. So